guys. We're back. I am so happy to be back sitting on this couch, and we will get into this, but this is not our permanent home. I think I mentioned that last time. So, next week's episode, I think, will be the last one in this space, and then we'll move into the temporary space, and then January 2026. Mm, we are we are off to the races with a new studio. Okay. So, studio, you'll see. So, I'm back in New York and I'm so happy to be back. I was having a little bit of anxiety when I first got back, and I realized one, it was because when I was home, I was working and I was working so much that I didn't have time to think about what that next week looked like. Usually I wake up in the mornings, I prep my day, I know what's happening today, I know what's happening next week. But this was like wake up, work, get home, exhausted, sleep, repeat. So I just tried to stay really present and not think too much about what would happen when I got back to New York. I also was unpacking my suitcase and I was looking around at all the stuff. And my New York apartment is small. Do not believe any of these TikTok influencer YouTube girlies. Those are one in a million, okay? Most people live in an apartment the size of this couch. The size of this couch. And so my room is small. Any suitcase that's opened already looks like a mess. And I felt like this. I don't even know how to explain it. I just felt like, because of all the stuff. And I was looking around and I said, I need a closet organization day. I need a drawer organization day. All of these files and papers and products and all these things. I really need to get a lot of this stuff out of here. So while you all are sitting, enjoying watching this, I will hopefully be in deep cleaning mode of my room and we're going to be feeling much better. So, I was back in New York on Tuesday, Wednesday. I was just running errands, running around. Can't even tell you what I did. I don't remember. And I was looking at my planner for Thursday and I said, Thursday night is wide open. Hmm. Usually I would have the reaction of, great. Can't wait to stay home, do nothing, maybe do a hair mask, maybe order in some food. I just can't wait to have a night to myself. But for some reason, something in me said, let's go hit the town. And I realized that none of my friends were in town, no one was available. And I said, well, I still really want to go. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go by myself to this place. Now, granted, the bar that I wanted to go to is the bar of one of the nicest restaurants in Manhattan. And you can't ask anyone to just go there with you, right? Not everyone wants to spend $30 on a glass of wine. And let me just say this, I don't go out a lot. So when I do go out, I want to go somewhere nice. I only have one or two and then I go home. So that's usually what other people would be spending going to the club raging till 3 a.m. Okay. So I said, okay, the couple friends that you know who you are, the couple friends that I might have gone to this place with out of town. And I said, well, I want to go. And I had this pair of white pants that I bought a while ago, and I haven't worn them since. I haven't worn them at all. And it's August, and you can't wear white after Labor Day. So I was starting to look at my summer outfits that I haven't worn yet again because I don't go out. And I said, these outfits need to see the light of day, or me buying these pants, worthless. I have to go somewhere to wear these pants, okay? So I got ready put my extensions in for an extra little confidence boost, and I was on my way to this bar. Also, a little pro tip for any of my girlies that want to go out in Midtown and you want to explore that terrain, okay? If you want a seat at the bar, which we all know I do because I'm not going anywhere where I need to stand, you have to get there before 5 o'clock. You have to get there at 4:50, okay? Close the laptop and run because I got there at, I think I walked in at 5 and I had to ask someone if they were using a chair that was next to them that they were standing over. And luckily, he was nice and gave it to me, but there were no other seats at 5 p.m. Okay. So keep that in mind if you don't want to stand. So I kind of saw this as a little exercise because I've said before, confidence is the hardest muscle to flex. So I said, you know what? I'm going to walk in there confidently. I'm going to walk in there like I own the place. Who knows? They might not know that maybe I'm like a silent investor in this restaurant. Maybe I'm a co owner. Who knows? They don't know. So I said, we're going to do this. We're going to walk in there confidently. You got this. Exercise for the confidence and for the wallet. I am really into finding new ways to get myself out of my comfort zone. I feel like I just need some new energy, something to really shake things up. So I love to do something along these lines every once in a while, but going to a bar by myself, I haven't done ever, ever. In the back of my head, too, I was thinking, what am I going to do when I get there? And I just sit there, sit on my phone. I got some work emails done. I read some things, did some things. But what do you do? And I did not let those thoughts get me down because I said, Presley, you have a business now and you need to network, especially with this crowd, because there could be someone here that wants to help your business grow. Okay. So I was sitting there in my little white pants, my cute little top, not jeans. They were not jeans because I think this restaurant, if you tried to walk in there in jeans, they'd be like, get away, you little peasant. Before I do anything that socially or something in public that would make me nervous, I ask myself, Presley, would a straight man be worried about this? No. A straight man would not be worried about walking into a bar and sitting down. I remember when I had this realization, I was sitting in the aisle on an airplane. Usually I'm a window girly, but for some reason we were on an aisle. We land and I was like, what do I do? Do I let the person next on the other side get up first and grab their bag? Do I get up and grab my bag? What? And I said, Presley, would a man be worried about who grabs the bag first? No, he would probably stand up, grab the bag, walk to the front of the plane, and ask the flight attendant to hold it for him while he used the bathroom. Okay. So we're not going to be worried about what we're doing, how we look, etc. Like I said last week, no one cares that much, which is great. It's so great. So I sat there, I had my glass of wine, I enjoyed. About an hour in, I was like, I am bored. I'm very, very bored. I'm not opposed to talking to anyone that approaches me, but there were no approaching happening. Okay. Everyone around me, granted, they looked my age, were talking about their wives and kids. And I said, this is not the place that I need to be. So I said, you know what? I look good. I'm feeling good. We're going to go to one more bar. This bar, also very, very, very nice bar, more expensive actually than the bar before. So I said, you know what? I'm going. And I had been once before, and I said, I'm going to go. So again, I sit there, have my wine. As soon as I take the first sip, my social battery just goes. She dies. I said, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know why I got wine. I want to go home. But I sat there and I finished it. And again, nothing happened. I literally just sat there. So I got home. And by this point, I was hungry and tired from the social battery of just being outside. And I was mad because I am trying, people are saying the dating apps are bad, blah, 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 blah. So I said, I'm going to go in person and see what happens. I texted my one straight male friend and I said, what's going on? I went to this bar and this bar. Something should have happened. And he said, everyone's in the Hamptons. I hate the Hamptons. I People go there during the week. I don't know. So that made me a little upset, but these were just my hungry and tired thoughts, but there was something to them. I got home and I started to kind of be like, I did that for nothing. I got dressed up. I looked so good. You know, those days where you're like, I look so good. What did I do that for? Why? What was the point of that? I could have just stayed home and saved some money. So I was trying to find the positives, and the positives were I made some human connection. I talked to the bartenders for 5 seconds, and I at least got out of my apartment and I put myself out there. I also started to get a sneaky feeling that, when you're sitting out and you see couples and they're on dates, you kind of naturally start to think about your current love life situation. And I am very, very single, which I've been loving. But I started to get, again, I think I said this in the Vegas episode, a sneaky feeling of where is he though? Where is he? And I don't want to meet anyone or take anyone very seriously until I'm 30 plus. If I'm envisioning my life, I can envision that that's probably when it's going to happen, but it would be nice to have someone to hang out with now. That's still 4 years away, okay? In this meantime, in the 4 years, right? I would much rather take myself out for a drink by myself and just sit there and look around at the beautiful bar and hang out than sit across from someone that's a loser, that's mean, that doesn't like me, that doesn't respect me, and waste a night on a man. I would much rather go by myself. So, I'm a big sign universe person. Maybe this is some sort of sign from the universe that for these next 4 years, I need to, not that I'm not, because I always am, but I need to lock in on the business things, the podcast things, my friendships, my family. I need to pour my energy there. And then we can start thinking about men later, okay? Because I will say this too, anytime I've gone out with friends, not thinking about meeting anyone, not thinking about a man, boom, someone pops up and we end up going on a few dates every time. There's something about when you go out and you're not trying, things happen. So we're going to put that trying energy and that hard work into the business, okay? So I think, we're not going to stress about it and everything's going to be okay. And I just want to say if you're sitting there listening and you kind of resonate with the where is he mentality, I just want to say it's one of those things that you can't tell people like, oh, you should go out more, you should date more, you should try this dating app, blah, blah, blah. No, you just need someone that says, that sucks. I understand how you feel. So if you're sitting there watching and you're wondering, one day, where is he? I hear you. I don't hear you because I'm just sitting here talking to myself, but I just want to say I understand how you're feeling. So, if anyone wants to go on a little solo date this week, please let me know if anything exciting happens. I love you all. Thank you for listening. We got this, and I will see you next week.